So there's really been a lot of happening since the last time we spoke a year ago, primarily around our expansion in terms of geographies in Europe, which has definitely been a lot of new, to be very soon announced, beautiful happenings. The first one is that we have won our first local French customer, which wasn't the case a year ago. And we are basically ramping up for go live later on in Q2. And there will be a pan-European 4 countries collaboration and support around affinity product lines. And we're very excited about this partnership. There is also going to be for us very strategically entering German market. That is something as well which is been happening late in 2025, and we're preparing for the go live as well towards the summer, which is obviously, if you look at our European expansion that started only 4 years ago, entering France and Germany is a major breakthrough for us. And we're very, very proud of the work and the collaboration that is taking place now. On the back of it and the expansion that we've seen in our team, we've actually also established a new delivery center, especially skewed towards Western Europe in Madrid. So Madrid is the place where we have been expanding the team quite rapidly. And it's obviously very attractive location for talents and developments, because at Peak3 we're very pleased to be able to bring in next generation of talents to be able to fuel the transformation in the industry. Another very important development for us in the business on the last 12 months was around global collaboration with large-scale insurers. I can't yet disclose the names, but basically around global travel capabilities is one of the collaboration that is happening. The second one is around health insurance, as well, with the logic of Peak3 being a global technology asset for that insurer, and to be able to bring us into multiple geographies. And we are now working on country number 1 as we speak.
Okay. So Peak3 obviously helps enable scalable AI adoption through modern full architecture. How are insurers at the moment leveraging the platforms to transform underwriting and also distribution and customer journey? What do we see?
Yes, so there's absolutely a lot of activity that is happening in the market. You sometimes have to separate from solving fundamental industry pain points that has been around for more than last 12 months, which really been 10, 15, 20 years, which have to do with the core infrastructure. And if you think about this, any new development that today are very hyped around what can AI do for me in my industry, Christopher was talking about that just earlier today, is obviously only enabled and unlocked if you have the ability to connect that back with your ability from the core infrastructure. And for us at Peak3, we connect the two topics together, and we have an offering and a way to help insurance companies progress on the two agenda. Modernizing the core on one side, and adopting and scaling your ability to use AI, connecting with your core processes, infrastructure, modules, and obviously the touch point with the customers. And to us, we have over the last several months splitted our offer into two, and for the first time now offering AI spot solution to solve areas in particular around claims submission, claims adjudication across multiple lines of business. I would say connected to the core, but now becoming as well a standalone offer, which is very new for Peak3, and it supports the way we see the evolution of the market going forward.
In terms of adopting AI responsibly and also meeting regulatory expectations across multiple regions, which is where you are now, how does Peak3 help out insurers?
Yeah. I would say the same logic. There is basically been regulatory pressure towards insurance industry, and specifically around the use of technology and AI, that has been extremely, I would say, demanding for the industry. Remember the times around DORA implementation, we spoke a bit about that last year as well, which has forced insurers to assess the way their data, the customer, were basically flowing when it comes to system, risk, operations. That has elevated, I would say, the maturity of the industry. And today, with the new versions around AI Data Act, is going to bring the level of expectation to the next level. The way we're doing it at Peak3, really part of our DNA, since we've been doing that from day one, is bringing that level of ability to have transparency, readability, and traceability around the usage and the flow of data. If you're operating in old systems, it's very hard to do. If you're built from modern cloud-first technology, it's a lot more easy for us to do. The second part of it, when it comes to specifically AI models and the collaboration and optionality we give to insurers, is to be able to bring explainability, right? Which is obviously the most difficult challenge when it comes to AI models. How do you explain the inputs you're getting? I'll take an example around claims, for instance. This is the claim submission from the user. But how do I explain to the ultimate decision maker, maybe the claims reviewer, the claims manager, the elements of identification, for instance, around fraud? What are the red flags and the warnings that AI has been able to identify, and explain that to the ultimate decision maker, which still remain a human, especially in cases where we believe there are scenarios of fraud and red flags. I think this explainability is an essential component to reassure, obviously, operations team, but as well risk, compliance, and ultimately insurers towards their regulator.
So what common barriers do insurers face when they're embedding AI? What processes? What's typically a stumbling block?
Yes. There are several of them, and I would start with the first one, which is, as I mentioned just before, infrastructure. If you are not able to have an infrastructure that enables you to optimize and test your models, you're going to be very slow in evolving and iterating your ability to leverage, new technologies available out there, but at the same time, improve the level of adaptability and accuracy that those AI models allows you to do. So the point around infrastructure is essential. Another one, which we are also constantly evolving our own learnings, is the point about culture. Because culture, if you think back, one step back around the hype around LLMs and Gen AI, actually you trace it back, the maturity of organization around the usage of data. And basically that has been a journey over the last 10 years. And we've seen very, very huge difference between organizations that have been investing around data capabilities. It's people, it's models, it's infrastructure, it's capabilities. And the ones that were already ahead of the curve when it comes to data maturity are also the ones that are leapfrogging and that are the pioneers when it comes to the new AI models adoption. And that element about culture, in my view, is what is the fundamental enablement beyond technology that would make insurers becoming the front runners in extracting value and extracting, at the end of the day, bottom line impact for the AI transformation.
So looking ahead, in terms of Europe and the Middle East, the next 3 to 5 years particularly, what's your forecast in terms of AI core modernization and digital operating models?
So there's a few areas in that, and I maybe break them down into a few topics. I think number one, something that we have seen and delivered over the last few years is how do we help insurers and the industry in general rethink their operating models. Because with technology more widely available, because with the importance to also streamline the way you run your operations, the way you harmonize your product offering, the engagement and touch point to customers, we have accompanied many companies to go into multi-country core modernization or multi-country distribution capabilities. We have recently published a white paper around that topic and listing down a number of successful use cases and the learnings attached to that. For instance, in a number of markets, you have a lot of strategic considerations. Do I want to double down my investment? Do I want to withdraw from the market? or do I want to find synergies with surrounding countries that face the same kind of challenges? And if you think strategically, if you have the option to build harmonized product offering across multiple markets, above 80% of harmonization, if you have a technology platform that enables you to operate as well regional operations and capabilities, it's a case where technology enables you to rethink the viability of the operations, the synergies and margin potential, and in a number of cases we have supported very successfully, enabled insurers to accelerate growth, reduce the cost for operations, and unlocking new opportunities around flexibility, product distribution, and claims streamlining.